Hello and welcome to Rage Quit. My name is Jay and today we're going to give you a little bit of an update on Duncan Rhodes and his next adventure. Now, for those of you who don't know, Duncan Rhodes was a painter at Games Workshop. He left, or the announcement was made in December that he was leaving, and he left I think at the end of December. And now we have a little bit of insight to what he's going to be doing next. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys, that video that I made then is doing quite well even now. So I just wanted to do an update for YouTube reasons. Look, I'm not going to lie, that's one of the reasons. However, I am going to fade into a conversation about personalities and companies. So stick around for that, basically. So let's have a look at his Twitter and the YouTube and all that kind of stuff, and then we'll talk about it. If at the end of this video you like this video, press like, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. It really does help. So yes, let's do it. So he tweeted on the 27th of Feb. A link to this video, and this video, I mean, there's nothing really in this video, it's just like an intro to his channel, which is going to be called Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy, and yes, it's on the YouTube channel that he will be doing his stuff on. So we can see that is the YouTube channel. Interestingly, it already has nearly 20,000 subscribers. The amount of people watching this video who don't know about the channel at this point, probably quite small. However, I will leave a link in the description if it's something you want to check out. Very interestingly, I'm seeing a Star Wars Legion model there, and as a Star Wars Legion player myself, that is very exciting. So he also posted on Twitter on the 28th saying, I'm overwhelmed by the support. Him and his friend Roger, who's been taking the photos, they've been working hard from day one, basically. So essentially, since he left Games Workshop, he's been working on this. So there's going to be a very quick backlog of miniatures, I suspect. And yeah, he's very happy about the support. And you can sort of see that on his Twitter. We'll do this on the fly. There's a few different pictures that he's done of the things that he's been painting since. And don't get me wrong, they look pretty damn exceptional. Yeah, so that's all interesting. His YouTube channel is going to be very interesting. There was a gentleman who sort of led the way for Duncan, I think, and I can't remember his channel name or his name, so do forgive me. But essentially, there was a painter who worked at Games Workshop in the studios. He left Games Workshop and created a YouTube channel and a Patreon, and he seems to be doing quite well from what I remember. And yeah, so I think maybe Duncan's seen that and been like, I'm, with all due respect, probably quite more well known than that guy, and I'm going to do that because then I'm my own boss and I'm my own business and I'm all that kind of stuff. So, and I completely respect that. It makes perfect sense. I'm very excited to see Duncan's work. He's obviously very personable. I've never met him or anything like that, but you know, he seems like a lovely guy, and he's of course become the meme of the two thin coats, but whether or not he likes that or not, I guess. And yeah, that leads me to the personality thing. So Duncan, with the two thin coats meme, he was and is a strong personality, and in one sense it makes sense if he thinks he can have a better life away from the company that he was working for, that he goes ahead and does this. And I'm sure we all wish him the best, and I'm sure it will be a massive success. However, I wonder what will happen now to companies like Games Workshop, or companies that have strong personalities who are essentially at the lead of the companies. Will they then sort of realize that actually we can't have it all hanging on one person? And I sort of feel like Games Workshop did this a couple of years ago when they introduced Peachy to the painting tutorials. It was sort of like, well, we can't have it all, Duncan, so we're going to spread it out a little bit. However, Duncan's still very well known, very well liked, and I'm sure we all said wish him very much success. So Games Workshop, did they sort of see this coming and try to tone it down? And then did Duncan maybe not wanting to be like, I don't want to say put to bed, but like, you know, overshadowed, has been like, I'm going to start my own thing. And, you know, that makes sense. And there's only really like one way I think you could even stop that, and that's if maybe like at Mantic, I think Ronnie at Mantic, he either owns Mantic or part ownership or something like that. But either way, if Ronnie becomes really popular and Mantic are becoming really popular, then he's gaining something from Mantic becoming popular, right? Whereas with Duncan, if Duncan's really popular and Games Workshop are really popular, well, he's just getting his normal pay from Games Workshop. Unless Games Workshop decided to give him like stocks or shares or something like that in the company, like ownership, it sort of makes sense that, you know, he wants to become possibly his own boss. That makes sense. I'm sure that's the dream for a lot of us. So I do think we already saw with Games Workshop the introduction of other characters, and I think it makes sense when companies are instead of just putting one person forward, they don't want the marketing to essentially to rely on that one person. They sort of want to spread it out, and yeah, it makes sense. Basically, I think the wargaming community now has got to a point where it can sustain various personalities, and of course, if you're working for a company, then it's a little bit easier for you to become a little bit more well known. I don't want to sound bitter there because I'm like some small ass YouTuber, but it makes sense that, you know, if you worked for Games Workshop, then you're going to have a different insight and people are going to be interested in that. So that's more than reasonable, more than acceptable, and completely understandable. But then again, those companies don't want one person to be the figurehead. So it's really interesting. I've got to say, just looking at these pictures, I'm sorry they're a little bit off center, what have you, but yeah, it's going to be good, isn't it? It's going to be gangbusters. I'm very much looking forward to his first tutorials going up, even if they're not Star Wars Legion, and I'm sure you'll all join me in wishing him a big success. I'm not going to dwell too much on the video because there's not really that much to say. He's left Games Workshop. He's doing some painting tutorials on YouTube. I presume a Patreon will follow, but in one of the tweets he says they'll talk about how they're going to make it their full-time jobs. Patreon or YouTube membership would seemingly make sense there, or unless they're going to do like courses, they could do. We'll have to wait and see. And yeah, I'm pretty excited. As I said, I just would like to clarify again, one of the reasons I'm making this video is that the other video was successful. I appreciate the content here a little bit limited, so bear with me. There are more, you know, in more of my videos I do a little bit more thinking and there's a little bit more substance. Either way, doesn't really make any sense. Have a most beautiful day. Goodbye.